One day at school, my teacher asked me to read aloud from Alibaba, but I kept changing the words magic carpet to magic rug, and when the teacher asked why, I said, carpeting stretched wall to wall, but rugs covered an area. Well, I could have used a magic rug that day because everybody chased me home from school, including the teacher.
For thousands of years, kings, emperors, sultans, poobahs, Caesars, czars, shahs, and sheikhs have valued what we used to call Oriental rugs. And for thousands of years, they were the only people who could afford these handmade masterpieces of art and labor. Making future heirlooms affordable to a much wider audience was what Marshall Field and Company had in mind in 1928. That was when the famous Chicago retailer began using machine looms to produce rugs intended to have the beauty and quality once seen only on the floors of those who never had to ask for a price. In that now faraway time, the name of the new brand was chosen for how exotic it would sound: Karastan. North Carolina textile mills were configured to turn out a product that all but the most astute eye would think was hand-woven. It was a Yankee inventor who made it possible for the rugs to have a multitude of colors. Eugene Clark did that by modifying the common Axminster loom to allow fibers known as pile to show through the cotton backing. The dyes had to be color-fast, so the company developed those too, as well as a finishing procedure called luster wash that gave the rugs a softer look and texture. No surprise, these elegant and more affordable rugs quickly became popular with interior designers. But not nearly as popular as they would become after the 1933 Chicago World's Fair, when a Karastan rug covered the floor at Marshall Field's exhibit. After 5 million visitors walked over it, grinding in the residue of their spilled drinks and food, what the company did was to clean only half the rug. The result was dramatic. One side disgustingly filthy, the other restored to its showroom glory. The PR stunt earned Karastan rugs America's admiration and a sizable market share. Throughout the 1930s and 40s, the brand continued to attract admirers, culminating in 1953 when Marshall Field spun off its North Carolina textile operations and its Karastan mill to a separate company, Fieldcrest. Fieldcrest produced floor coverings under the Karastan name for 40 years, until the brand was sold to Mohawk Industries. Today, 80% of Karastan rugs are made right where they first began flooring people back when, Eden, North Carolina. Each rug begins with a classic design that recalls patterns from eras past. Wool that's been imported from New Zealand is spun into a yarn at a factory in Greenville, then transported to Eden, where it's inspected and then skein dyed. This means that the fibers are dyed in yarn form, ensuring that its color will be both even and bright. Now the yarn is threaded into a computer-controlled tube bank that sets the sequence and alignment onto loom frames. A power loom weaves the yarn over and over in the same pattern. This creates a huge rug that will eventually be cut into individual rugs. The thick pile isn't sheared as much as it's mowed into an even height. Then skilled eyes and hands look for and repair any defects. Now's when any extra special effects are created. The rugs may be sent through one of several finishing processes that can alter the texture, antique it, or produce highlights called the Sultan Slippers, which is accomplished with a roller of pompons. Sultan or not, once the edges and fringe are sewn into place, it's ready for your own royal tootsies. And that's exactly the point. Once upon a time, only the rich folk could afford to walk barefoot in style. If that's not progress, nothing is. See you next time on Made in America.